Hi, I just had a session with Anastasia a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to tell you about my experience with her. So, the reason why I wanted to have a session with Anastasia is because I had this huge issue with, I would call it addiction to caramel and anything that's caramel. And it's a weird thing because this started with me about 10 years ago, and I couldn't figure out how or why, where it came from, because I couldn't recall if I had anything to do with caramel before that. So I went into this session being curious, and I really wanted to resolve it because obviously during the lockdown for the past year and a half, it really became an issue for me because I couldn't say no to caramel. Let that be caramel syrup in my coffee or just a biscuit or chocolate, anything that's caramel. And I just couldn't say no. I knew what my triggers were, but I couldn't say no to caramel in a way that wouldn't leave me without this urge to just go and eat twice as much. You know what I mean? I always felt that I was rebellious. I couldn't say no. Or if I said no, then half an hour later I would eat twice as much than if I wouldn't have said no earlier. So it was a huge problem. So I went into this session, and Anastasia was so caring and lovely, and she was listening and asked all the right questions, and I don't even know how we ended up figuring out what my real issue was. Obviously, it wasn't the caramel, and it didn't actually start 10 years ago, but that's when it escalated. So by the end of the session, somehow I gained so much clarity. And now, when I do get triggered, I can say no without having to go back later and eat twice as much. So now that I understand what is lying behind my caramel addiction, I can actually control it and manage it. So I think I had the session about 2 weeks ago, or I think it was 2 weeks ago now, and I can actually enjoy caramel without having too much, or when I want to say no, I can say no. And in fact, I think I only had caramel in my latte since then a couple of times. And it is really a different experience now for me, now understanding my problem with it and already having it resolved and working on the underlying issue that I had with it. So I can only recommend working with Anastasia because she's lovely, she's friendly, understanding, and so patient with you on the session. And I really loved working with her, and I'm definitely going to go back to her if I have any other problems. Bye for now.